Hello survivors and welcome to another video. So there has been an official release on the updates that happened about a month ago. We knew most of them because we can see them in wheels. However, the Ascension update you cannot see. It's a lot of messing around to try and see any of the characters that are potentially in there, but we definitely can't see everyone who's in there. There could always be that character you just don't find. Whereas this official release obviously just gives us the full information. I'll link this post in the description if you want to check it out. It has all the details of what characters you can get in every single part of the game right now, and this is generally updated every now and again. But right now in this video we're going to be looking specifically at the updates to the Ascension Tower and what characters you can get from ascending from 4 stars to 5 stars. So we'll go through each one a trait at a time. First off, we'll look at the non-ascendable fast characters, and in alphabetical order it's the same pretty much as what we've had before, and it is Annie, Ben, who is a Telltale character, Clementine, who is a Telltale character, Oberson, who is a Telltale character. We also have Rick, Sophia, Tess, and Wilkins. It's the same characters that we've had in here before. None of these characters are new for normal 5 stars. If we look at the Ascendable list, however, there are a couple of new additions, but there are a couple of normal returning characters as well. There's Carly, who is a pretty decent rainbow lead. She's only really going to be decent against range characters, but I found her to be a pretty good buffer with her rush just on roadmaps and stuff. Connor, who's a good debuffer, can work in combination with someone like Alpha and do quite a lot of damage. He's a good SR leader as well because he has a crit to all fast characters on that leader skill. Gator is one of the best drop leaders in the game, obviously along with Kenny. Gator's good for melee characters, gives a big defense buff as well. Joshua is a returning and he has a collateral specialist skill. On paper he could be good, but there aren't really any good weapons within fast characters to really take advantage of that collateral, so he kind of falls short because of that. Negan is one of the worst 5-star Ascendables in the game, and he is a returning unfortunately as well. The 2 new ones in this list are, first up we've got Barker, who is a good SR leader, not much else at the moment because he obviously gives a crit buff, but he's a very old character, doesn't really add much. Ezekiel can do stuff still because he's a Guardian too, and if you don't have him, you didn't get him from the event originally, or you haven't got lucky from any of these wheels. I think he's in elite character tokens now, but you can potentially get him in Ascendance as well, so he's still pretty decent. All of these ascendable characters, however, are generation 1, so none of them have the boosted stats, so they're going to fall short in most areas, but some of them are quite good utility characters for like roadmaps and SR. Next up we have the strong characters, and the non-ascendables are Abraham, Earl, who everybody hates, Ezekiel, Jackson, Kenny, who's a Telltale character, Lee, who's a Telltale character and is also a future Ascendable, and while he's a future Ascendable, he probably has a better chance, or at least you have a better chance of getting a non-Ascendable when you ascend than you have of getting an Ascendable. There are a lot of non-Ascendables in here. Now it could be a long time until Lee gets released, it could be weeks, it could be months, just because he was leaked. He could be next, he could be in 5, 6 characters. There's no way of knowing. It's just he is a future Ascendable. We know that he's got some art in the game. Marcus, Margaret, Martinez, Negan, Norma, who is another Telltale character, Rosa, Rosita, and Sadiq, who again is another Telltale character. If you're into Telltale characters, this is a good way to collect them. There are 4 ascendable strong characters. There are not that many. The only returning in this list in terms of confirmation of returning, although I'm pretty sure Carl's are returning as well, but he was highlighted as a new character. Glenn is a command character and he's very good, obviously very important for certain attack teams, particularly if you run a very green team, because strong characters do not have an AP leader just yet in terms of being widely available. He makes it so you can rush a turn earlier, which is very useful in certain situations. The new characters that have been listed are Aaron, who is quite a good SR leader because I believe he gives crit buff. Carl, who is a very good melee defense leader, probably one of the best characters that you can get in Ascendance. And Nox, who is one of the most recent characters in here. He was released at Christmas, I believe, but he still is Generation 1, just along with the rest of these 5-star Ascendable strong characters. Now we move on to the tough characters, and the non-Ascendables are Aaron, Barker, Bonnie, Darius, Derek, Herschel, Jason, Lily, starved for help, obviously she is a Telltale character, Major Gavin, Mark, and Omid, who is a Telltale character as well. There are quite a lot of tough Ascendables, however, within Ascendance, and there are quite a few new ones. First up we have Eric, who is one of the only Generation 2 characters in this, and he is obviously one of the best in here because he's a revive, he's a good leader, he has kind of been countered recently with Michelle's release, but still useful. Sadiq, who very much evades me, but I haven't tried to ascend for this guy for a long time. He's a command, obviously, but you don't need commands on ranged attack teams as much as you once did. But it still could be quite useful. It's always nice to have that in the bank. You never know what could change in the future in terms of AR speeds and so on. Yumiko, who is a very old tough character. She's okay. She's not terrible. She's not great. She's just sort of in the middle. She did get kind of buffed when they released fire starter characters, because on her rush she does a fire rush, and you could potentially spread that around a little bit in terms of her, how strong what she can bring to your team is. Now the 3 new characters are Aiko, who is a very strong hitter. She's obviously got waste not, so she could potentially kill 2 characters with 1 rush. We also have Dwight, who is a reasonable leader, but a bit of a letdown on his rush. If he had 100% heal reduction, he would have actually been pretty good, but that 75% made him go from a decent character just to a character that you probably have never seen. Jesse is a character that can be okay and can be useful, but mainly in things like world map, road maps, and survival road, faction assault. She's not really there for raids, although I have seen her on some defense teams. She doesn't really offer that much, except maybe a bit of a cleanse when she rushes. She has got quite a fast rush, to be fair. Now on an attack team she can be pretty decent, because she's got a cleanse active, or I think it's impair cleanse active, and a stun cleanse on her rush, so she can be okay on certain attack teams, but there are probably better options, to be honest. So she may be just a stepping stone character for newer players. However, I've used her on world map and faction assault quite a few times, and she's been absolutely fine. So those are all the available tough 5 stars and 5-star ascendables. The 5-star ascendable pool of characters is the 2nd largest within the Ascension Tower, the largest being fast characters. Moving on to the alert characters, and we have Abraham, Something to Fear, who is obviously, all of these are returning characters. We have Carl, Caroline, Glenn, Heath, Joshua, Lopez, Magna, who is not the future ascendable. She is not the shield, she is the crit leader. We have Rick, Rocky, Timothy, and we have Vernon, who is the only Telltale character from the alert characters within 5 stars. Now within the 5-star ascendables, there is another character who is generation 2. One of the only 2 characters in here is Donnie. He is a decent leader. I think his time will come in terms of how good he is, just because of how much Eric has been countered by Michelle. We'll see what's going to happen with Donnie in the future. We also have Laurie, who is one of the better Generation 1 characters. Mainly the Generation 1 characters are going to be good if they're support characters. She has got neutralized, she's got a nice buff, she has a pretty decent active. All 3 of the things that she has on her kit are pretty good, and she can work on attack and defense teams, which is awesome. Mirabelle, obviously one of the most old school characters. She still has some use. The fact that she has stun cleanse is okay for some attack teams within range. Now the 2 new alert ascendables in here are Rick, who is the winter Rick, who sort of wears the Christmas jumper. I got baited because I actually did ascend, and I thought I got OG Rick. They look exactly the same in the silhouette, and then when he popped up, he was the ascendable. I had no idea he was in there. And lastly, as the last ascendable within alert, we have Rose, who is another drop leader. There is 2 drop leaders in this, and she is okay. She can work on some raid teams. The combination with her and Tyrese could be pretty good. The downside, of course, is that she does take up a slot in that 5-character team, and there are probably better options for her. But she is still a pretty decent drop leader, and she'll work just fine in things like survival roads, faction assault, that sort of thing. So those are the alert characters, and I think that alert has the most new characters that have not been in any other wheels before. I think Rose was only part of an event collection, and I don't think this Rick has been in anything except perhaps like a lucky wheel or a war token wheel. So these are generally going to be brand new characters for anyone who managed to ascend for them. So that's the end of my video, guys. I hope this has been helpful for you in terms of what you want to go for in Ascension. There are obviously a lot less characters in certain traits than others, but I'm pretty sure the odds breakdown is going to be the same. So it'll be like, let's say 15% chance of getting an ascendable, probably not even that high. And then once you get that ascendable, then the odd breakdown will be within those, how many characters are in there. That's just my assumption anyway. I don't think it's per character. I think it's just ascendable or non-ascendable. There is, of course, just the one non-ascendable that is a future ascendable, and that is Lee within Strong. So soon there'll be more strong characters that are ascendable in there. But that's it. I do leave a link in the description if you want to check out everything in terms of all the characters available in 5 stars, prestige, all of that. If you don't want to go through the wheel, that's fine. But that's the end of my video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.